Welcome back. We will continue setting the agenda for the new federal cabinet ministers, and today we will focus on the new Labour Minister, Dr. Chris Ngige. What is his plan for the unemployed in the country? Now, joining me now to discuss this from our Abuja studio is the General Secretary of the Textile Workers Union, Mr. Issa Aremu.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Aremu. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. And of course, Bosun Omofa is still right here in the studio as we'll chat about this situation. Now, Mr. Aremu, let's begin from the past administration. Now, what is your assessment for the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan?
Well, I think well, in our slogan in the labor movement, we always say forward ever, backward never. But if you want me to reflect, I think I agree with you that we should know where we are coming from. So that we can know where we are going. I think the truth of the matter is that Nigeria has recorded, growth, well acknowledged. I think on the average throughout the period of Jonathan, average growth rate was about 6% to 7%. But we all agree that it was a jobless growth. It wasn't job-led. Yes, we are supposed to be the biggest economy in Africa with the rebate. But this economy has not created enough jobs, that are needed, for teeming mass of unemployed youth in this country. I think so. With respect to employment, there were efforts that were made, but definitely those efforts have not delivered the level of employment that we are looking for. The official statistic today from Ministry of Labour shows that we have 24% unemployment rate. Unofficial statistics is even more than that, maybe close to almost about 50% unemployment rate. We have 3 million graduates that leave school every year. They have no jobs. And from the way you see the restlessness throughout the country, it's amazing. These youths who are protesting left and right, looking for imaginary republic. That tells you the level of frustration that we have in the country. I think it is clear that there's more to be done in terms of employment generation. And I think, let me use this opportunity to formally welcome and congratulate Dr. Chris Ngige, who is the substantive Labour Minister, as well as James Ocholi, the Minister of State. For Chris Ngige, somebody I'm quite familiar with. He has been a laboring politician. If you look at his antecedents, I think he's been laboring. Whether as a governor and even as a senate, so he must be used to the turbulence of what's going to happen in the ministry. But I think there's a lot of challenges for him. As far as I'm concerned, the most critical ministry for this administration is Ministry of Labour and Employment. And I think we should make this point. Even historically, this is the oldest Ministry of Labour ministry in Nigeria.
Mr. Aremu?
Yes.
If I may intervene here, I'm Bosun Omofa. I am the business editor here, live in the studio in Lagos. If I need to ask you this very quickly, what exactly, when you say Ministry of Labour and Productivity in Nigeria, what is this ministry really all about? Put it a little bit in a very 1 minute for what is it expected to do, and what has it been doing?
Yeah, thanks so much. That's the point I was raising, that you'll be surprised that. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go on. Go on, please.
That's why I tried to go on memory lane after I've been challenged to look at the past. This is the oldest ministry that we have in Nigeria. Ministry of Labour was established as far back as 1939. It's the oldest department. And that's very instructive. The colonial authority established Ministry of Labour because they knew that the greatest resource any country can have is labor. And Nigeria is abundantly blessed with huge human resources. And if you look at the whole miracle of colonial economy, it was founded on mobilizing human resources to build railways, to construct public, works, the story, the roads that were built at that time. So what I want to say here is that the vision and the mission of Ministry of Labour remains the need to generate jobs, ensure harmonious industrial relations in the country, ensure decent work, ensure that work, that are given are protected and are well paid for. So it's an all-encompassing, mandate that Ministry of Labour has, and it has, a lot of parastatals under it which can drive this. You have the productivity center, which is supposed to motivate, the workforce, to ensure productivity. You have industrial arbitration panel and courts which are supposed to mediate on labor disputes. You have Labor Institute, which is supposed to train workers, and promote, the need for them to know the challenges in the world of work. I think the challenge for the two ministers, is how to turn this ministry around and deliver on the agenda of President Buhari. And I think the first major challenge would be how this ministry can reverse the existing state of mass unemployment in this country. And I was raising this point before. When you look at the youths that were moving up and down, demonstrating, asking for what they call Biafra Republic, I was asking myself, in the 80s and up to early 90s, those youths supposed to be working in the factories. Abba Textile Mill alone, when it was functioning, could absorb those thousands of workers, thousands of youths. They are supposed to add in value, and it's throughout the country. I also look at the 100 youths that Army Command declared as terrorists. All of them were teenagers. These are either youths that are supposed to be working. So I think Chris Ngige, as well as James Ocholi, they have a lot cut out for them to make sure that they realize the vision of President Buhari in terms of creating jobs. And to do so means that we must revive the industries that have closed down, and there are many of them. There are lots of initiatives already in place. So this ministry must liaise with the Ministry of Trade and Investment to get going. We can't be looking for foreign investment when domestic investment is under lock and key. And there are labor intensive industry like textile, constructions, railway. One of the greatest things President Buhari can do is to improve on railway network. The little effort put in place by President Jonathan, when he was there, was quite commendable to revive railway. With the refurbishing of the old gauge, about 6,000 direct jobs have been created. You can imagine if we go modern and massively, we take it more serious, millions of jobs can be created, direct and indirect, in terms of employment in that sector. So what I'm saying here is that the Ministry of Labor is extremely strategic, and for me, it's possibly the most strategic ministry, because other ministries cannot work if the human resources are not well motivated and they are not well compensated for. So it's important. And then the second one is that for few workers who have jobs, I think we must also dignify the world of work. You know the stories of late, because of massive unemployment, recruitment has become a complete scandal in this country, in which host of labor contractors, recruit workers and give the workers to different establishments for which they don't have obligation to them. I think the Ministry of Labor must also be on duty to make sure that we enforce the spirit and content of our labor laws. Nigeria has a number of progressive labor laws. We have one of the best labor laws in this country. Trade Union Act, was clear about how you can recruit and how you can handle workers. Now many employers hire and fire. A lot of workers on contracts, they are not well paid. In fact, you have what I call triangular agency, in which a labor broker employs a worker, and then transfer the workers to the establishment, and the establishment takes the skills and the job of the workers, and they don't bear any responsibility. When there are problems, they say, no, we are not the one who recruited you, it is the contractors. I think that's illegal, based on the spirit and content of our labor law.
Okay, Mr. Aremu,
then the second one is, which is also very important, is that now we have what I call working poor. Workers who really work, they are not paid on time as and when due, and even when they are paid, their pay can never take them home. I mean, you know the stories, and I want to commend President Buhari for being labor-friendly, to think outside the box, to bail out about 27 state governors who couldn't pay salary. But if you look at our labor law, it's extremely illegal. Nigerian labor law talks of protection of wages. It's very clear. If you read the Labor Act, it even says that you can't deduct more than 1/3 of workers' salaries, in case he borrows money so that the workers can survive. It also says you must pay a worker either weekly, fortnightly, but not more than a month. But now it's a scandal that what colonial authorities did not even do to us. Some employers now hold salary 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Yeah, and
okay, Mr. Aremu
has not been on duty the way it should
Mr. Aremu, I just want to ask you a very quick question. I know that you said quite a lot, which has to do with the issue of policy. Now, do you think that the new Labour Minister should perhaps put in place a policy and implement the same in terms of having to control how contract staffs are treated in order not to abuse them?
Be precise. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, that's clear. I mean, interestingly, the Ministry of Labor, has a lot of series of policies. One of them is also about employment policy. I think it's important that Ministry of Labor should just implement the spirit and content of Nigeria Labor Act, which says that a worker, once you have recruited a worker, not more than 3 months, you must formalize the contract of employment.
All right, Mr. Aremu.
If you extension, you can do so.
Mr. Aremu, thank you. Thank you.
Labor law also say that workers should be well protected in the world of work. So I think I have no doubt in my mind that the two ministers have a lot to do. And I'm so happy the president has put two ministers. They're very unprecedented, which shows that labor is very critical to the success of this administration. All
right, Mr. Aremu, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate your insightful analysis and contribution to what Dr. Chris Ngige should be doing at this point as the new Labour Minister. We do appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, yeah.
And that was Mr. Issa Aremu there talking about the agenda for the new Labour Minister. Thank you so much, Mr. Aremu. And thank you, Bosin, for also sticking around to talk to Issa Aremu on this issue. Very critical for the development of our economy. We need to treat our people right and ensure that they are allowed to express their ability to develop the economy in whichever field that they have.
Very correct.
All right. Correct. Okay, we've got a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the issue of labor and productivity, looking at the public and the private sector. Mr. Mike Adeleye will be joining me in the studio.